Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing really well. In this video, I really don't know what I'm gonna name this video. I'm basically gonna just do whatever. I don't know what look I'm going for, but you guys probably already saw in the thumbnail. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna quickly start off. This is gonna be a full-on glam. I know that I want to do like an orange cut crease kind of eyeshadow look. That's the kind of look I'm going for. But yeah, I already done my brows and I'm going to start on my eyeshadow. I'm going to grab my base quickly. Also, that beeping noise in the background, I know it's so annoying, but I don't know what to do. I've changed the batteries, I've removed the whole thing, and it's just not working. It's not going anywhere. Like, there's always a beeping noise and I know it's so annoying. Please let me know in the comments what I should do about it. Like, should I throw the house in the bin? What do I do? Like, what the hell do I do about this noise? But yeah, for my base, I'm using the P. Louise base in Rumor 04. I'm going to apply this base all over the lids because my eyelids are really dark. This would just give me a clean base to work on. And once you set down a base, your eyeshadows will pop even more. So that's why I like using a base. P. Louise one is really good, but you can use any concealer that you have. And I'm just going to blend that out with my Morphe E23 brush. It is so hot in the UK right now. I don't know where this heat wave came from, but it is hot. It's like 30 degrees today. In the middle, it started raining in the UK and everyone's like, okay, summer's over, that's it, get your jumpers and coats out. And a week later, we get a heat wave. So weird. I'm using a bunch of Colourpop eyeshadows today because they're brand new. I want to try them out and see how they are. Colourpop Colour Shock. Is it Colour Shock? Super Shock, that's it. Colourpop Super Shock shadows are amazing and you can use them as highlighter as well, so that's a bonus. So the two Colourpop shadows that I'm going to use is this Orange You Glad Pressed Powder Palette, and the other one that I'm going to use is this SOL Pressed Powder Palette. Both very similar, but there's a few shadows in the SOL palette that I want to use. Okay, let's go with Sunkissed from the Orange You Glad palette. I'm going to take this colour here. It's a bright orange. Wow, I just picked up a lot. So yeah, I'm going to use that as a transition shade. So I'm just going to pop that above the transition. I'm kind of being sloppy with this colour because I don't want it to be too precise. These Colourpop shadows are so pigmented, like really pigmented, and Colourpop is really affordable as well. Okay, the orange shade is on my lids. I'm then going to go ahead with the SOL palette. This colour here right on the bottom is like a very dark brown. Pop that in the outer corners. They are very different when you pop them on your lids. I'm just focusing that on the outer corners and then dragging it into the transition. The majority of the shadow is going to be on the outer corner and the leftover shadow is going to come in the inner corners like that. I'm going to focus it on the outer corners and then the leftover eyeshadow is going to drag into the inner corners and the crease. Then I'm going to grab my Sigma E40 blending brush and just blend everything out. Okay, I think I'm going to need like a darker shade to go in the outer corners. I'm going to grab a different palette. I'm going to grab the Beauty Bay Fiery palette, and the inside looks like this. This is a gorgeous palette. It's all warm tones and this is like so up my street. I'm going to take the colour Caramel Sauce, which is this one here. This would be perfect for our outer corners. Oh, I love this colour. This is my first time using this palette and I don't know why I haven't used it before because the colours are gorgeous. With the same brush, I'm going to take the colour Chocolate Souffle, which is this extremely dark brown. Just going to take a little bit and focus that just on the outer corners, and I'm not going to drag that into the crease, just going to focus that on the outer corners. Did I also mention that I'm using natural lighting? If the lighting does change in the middle, that's because I'm not using my ring light today because it's so hot and I cannot have a ring light face directly at me. It's way too hot for that. And let me know in the comments if that's better. The only reason why I don't really use natural lighting is because obviously in London it's mostly gloomy and today is like really sunny outside, so I thought, you know what, let me use natural lighting instead of the ring light. I'm going to grab this flat brush and I'm going to dip my brush in a black shade. None of these palettes that I use have a black shade, so I'm going in with the Makeup Addiction Sinful Eyes palette. This palette is amazing as well. The colour that I always use is this one here, and that broke when I I was on holiday in Agadir. Honestly, that colour was the only colour I loved. That colour was the colour that I used almost every single time I was in Agadir. So I'm going to take the black and run it on the lash line. This is just going to act as eyeliner, and then with a different brush I'm just going to blend that out. I'm going to go in with a bit more black. So I do this a few times just to build the colour up. I can't seem to find my P. Louise base anywhere. Where the hell did I put it? And it's not in my makeup bag. Okay, I have no idea where my P. Louise base has disappeared off to, because I was going to cut my crease with that. Okay, to cut my crease, I'm just going to use the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX10. So I'm using the lighter shade to do that. I'm just going to start cutting the crease. Can't talk while I do this. I have to be like super silent and focused. I'll go ahead and do the other eye. Okay, crease is kind of cut. I'm going to go ahead and just blend the outer corners out. I'm just going to go ahead and set that with Orange You Glad palette, and I'm going to set my crease with this shade here. Just going to pack that colour on. Literally the exact same colour as my concealer. I'm going to quickly get out my ring light because the sun is messing with my lighting. I'm going to quickly dip my brush in black shadow and go over this step, because I feel like it kind of blended out with the other shades. Okay, I think my eyes are kind of complete. I love the way this turned out. Okay, eyes done. I'm going to move on to my face. I don't know what foundation I should wear today. I'm going to go ahead with the Sephora foundation, which looks like this. I'm in the colour 40, but this is a tad bit too dark and too red toned for me. So I'm going to mix that in with Too Faced Born This Way foundation. And I'm in the shade Caramel. Caramel is a bit too cool toned for me. I definitely need to pick up a different shade. So I'm going to mix both of these together to get my perfect foundation shade. I think it's about time I blow this candle out because I don't think there's any more left in it. Alright, much better. I'm going to put one pump of the Sephora foundation on my sponge and one pump of the Born This Way foundation on my sponge as well. Okay, I have quite a bit of fallout under my eyes, so I'm just going to wipe the fallout under my eyes. I'm just going to mix it on my cheek and then kind of tap it everywhere. My forehead doesn't need much because my forehead is usually clear. It's my cheeks that need it the most. I have tiny little red veins on my cheek as well, which is so annoying. I don't mind them. They don't really show up unless you go really close. That's when you can see them. And I used to have acne on my cheeks, and I still kind of suffer from breakouts just on my cheeks. Like you can see a big fat pimple right there, and it only happens on my cheeks, not anywhere else. I didn't expect these two foundations to work. Finish is amazing, and I feel like the coverage is insane. I love both these foundations mixed together. Wow, my skin looks really healthy and glowy. Or is it just me? Let me know in the comments. Okay, I love how my foundation looks. Okay, time for concealer. I think I want to use a different concealer because I always use the Born This Way concealer. For concealer, I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, I believe this is called. This is in the shade Biscuit, and I'm just gonna pop a little bit of that under the eyes like that. So many people rave on about this concealer. I kind of haven't used it properly to give like a full-on review on it, so I always tend to lean towards like my Born This Way or my Kevyn Aucoin concealers, because I feel like, because I know they're really good, so I always tend to lean towards them. I think the only reason why I haven't used this a lot is because it's very dewy. I like my concealers to be very matte under the eyes. I always reach for concealers that are a little bit more tacky or more thicker, if you get what I mean. I'm just going to blend that out. It's not bad. It's not the most full coverage concealer I've used, but you can definitely build it, I guess. It definitely does give a radiant look under the eyes. But now I'm just going to set my under eyes with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just going to slightly dampen my sponge again. Just wait for that to kind of dry down and soak in. And just going to grab a little bit of the powder I'm going to look up and pat that into my skin. I'm not going to bake with this powder. I'm just going to pat it into my skin. I'm going to look up and pat it into the skin. I'm just going to go ahead with the Sacha Buttercup powder. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that and just pop it under the eyes. So I'm kind of like baking with this. I like my under eyes and my face to look really warm. And the Laura Mercier translucent powder kind of just makes your under eyes a little bit too bright. I'm going to go ahead and contour my face. And to contour my face, I'm going to use the Born This Way concealer in the shade Toffee. And I'm really going to bronze my face with this as well as contour. Pop a little bit there. There. My nose and under my chin. I mean under my lips. And now I'm just gonna blend my contour out. This kind of just bronze up your whole face as well. Okay, the powder under my eyes has been sitting there for a hot sec. I'm just gonna brush that away. To contour my face, I'm going to use the NARS Casino bronzer. This is a bronzer, but I use it as contour because I would never use this as bronzer because it's way too cool for me. Just going to use it as contour. Okay, I'm going to completely skip bronzer and move on to blush. This is the Blush by 3 palette Pumpkin 363, and I'm going to take this bright orange shade here and just kind of pop that on the apples of my cheeks. Okay, I do go quite heavy-handed with blush because I love blusher. Okay, I'm just going to quickly apply my lashes off camera, and I'm going to do my bottom lashes and mascara off camera quickly as well. And the lashes that I'm going to take is actually from an Instagram brand called Luxe Lashes. This is in the style Divine. So I'm going to quickly pop that off camera and come back. Okay, my lashes are on. I'm going to quickly go ahead with the Inglot Nude Eyeliner in number 68. This is a nude eyeliner gel. I'm just going to apply that on my waterline. So what I like to do is grab a nude eyeliner pencil and dip it in my eyeliner gel. I can't do it with brushes for some reason because it ends up looking very uneven. So I always tend to do it with a nude eyeliner pen. That way it's very smooth, and I kind of just leave my eye like this for like 30 seconds so it dries down. I'm going to do the other eye. Wow, my eyes look very big. Okay, time for highlight. I'm going to actually go in with the Colourpop Light Sticks, which looks like this. This is a... what is this? What do you call them? A stick highlighter, that's it. I'm going to go ahead with the Colourpop stick highlighter, and this is in the shade Bullseye. It's a gorgeous champagne-y goldy shade. This is my first time using it, so I literally don't know how to use these things. Just going to dab it on my cheeks, bit on my nose, on the bridge of my nose. And I'm just going to blend that in with my fingers. This is actually really nice. This is actually a really nice highlight. I think I'm going to leave it like that because I love how the highlight looks. It looks very natural and dewy. Alright, time for lips. I'm going to quickly take off my gloss. And I'm going to line my lips with the Primark Toffee lip liner. I'm going to go ahead with the Cinnamon Cream lipstick. I'm using so many Colourpop products today, but Colourpop is an amazing brand and so affordable. And then on top, I'm going to go ahead with another Colourpop product. This is the Ultra Matte Lip in the shade Told You So. This is a slightly orangey peachy shade, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on top. I forgot to add a bit of powder highlight in the inner corners, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm using another Colourpop product. Wow, I didn't realise how many Colourpop products I'm using. But this is a Luster Dust in Au Revoir. Just going to apply that in the inner corners. Alright, so this is the finished look. I went for a very orangey sort of makeup. I've got orange blush on, orangey lips, orange eyes, orange top, everything orange. But I've been loving orange recently. I don't know why, but I love like orangey lips and an orangey blush. I also loved the Sephora foundation and the Born This Way foundation mixed together. They look amazing on. I feel like my skin looks super healthy. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure you